All right, diving into industrial mobile devices, software development.
Exciting stuff.
It is. And we've got all the RoleCatcher resources right here.
Yeah, gonna give you a real leg up in this field.
Exactly.
Tons of potential.
So no more vague job descriptions.
Nope.
We're going deep.
Let's do it.
Unpacking what this job really means, how to answer those tricky interview questions.
Yeah.
All with confidence.
Love it.
So first, what does an industrial mobile devices software developer actually do?
Well, think rugged devices,
Okay.
factories, warehouses, out in the field.
The places your smartphone wouldn't last.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're building the software that makes those devices work in these really demanding environments.
It's like next level problem solving.
It is, and it's a skill set that's, super in demand.
And speaking of demand, the RoleCatcher Career Guide, it highlights the incredible growth potential
Oh, yeah.
in this field.
Huge.
You could specialize in AI, management roles, even cutting-edge research.
The possibilities are, they're really vast,
It's exciting.
which makes this a really, really exciting career path.
All right, let's get to the interview.
Okay.
RoleCatcher has a ton of potential questions.
They do.
Let's start with one that often trips people up. Can you explain your experience in developing software for industrial mobile devices?
Yeah, this question is all about, showcasing what you've done. But,
Mhm.
and this is important, even if you haven't worked with industrial devices specifically, you can still nail this answer.
Okay, so say your background's more like regular mobile app development.
Right.
How do you bridge that gap?
You focus on your transferable skills.
Okay.
So think back to projects where you dealt with, say, offline functionality,
Mhm.
limited battery life, maybe spotty connectivity, those kinds of things.
Oh, those are all challenges.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Because what you're showing them is that you can adapt.
Right.
You can solve problems no matter what the hardware throws at you.
So it's not about the device itself.
No.
It's about how you think.
It's about that problem-solving mindset.
I like that.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a huge help.
So?
Well, it analyzes your past projects and picks out the ones that show off those transferable skills that are most relevant to this kind of role.
That's awesome.
It is, yeah.
Like a personal assistant for your resume.
Exactly. Digging through everything, finding those gems.
Love it.
And then, of course, don't forget to mention the basics. Programming languages like Java or C++, plus your knowledge of mobile operating systems, and any experience you have with those specific development tools for industrial devices.
Yeah, those are fundamentals.
They are, yeah, the foundation.
Okay, now another question that they might ask.
Okay.
Can you describe your experience with wireless communication protocols such as Bluetooth and Wi-Fi?
Okay, so this is where you get to show off your understanding of how all these devices, talk to each other, how they connect to the world, because industrial settings, they rely heavily on wireless communication.
Makes sense.
So this is a key area.
So it's not just knowing that Bluetooth exists.
No.
You have to understand how it works in these environments.
Exactly. Exactly. So have you dealt with signal interference, security concerns? If you have, those are gold. Mention those.
Sure, you can solve those real-world problems.
You got it. And even if you haven't had tons of hands-on experience, you can still impress them by talking about different types of protocols,
Okay.
their pros and cons, how you choose the right one for a certain situation.
That shows you're thinking it through.
It shows you're thinking like an industrial mobile devices software developer.
All right, now security is huge in these environments.
Oh, absolutely.
So I bet they'll ask something like, how do you ensure that the software you develop for industrial mobile devices is secure and meets industry standards?
Right, and here you want to emphasize that you're all about building rock-solid software.
Okay.
So talk about your familiarity with those security protocols, your experience with actually implementing them, any security testing tools you've used.
Like encryption, authentication.
Exactly, all that good stuff.
And making sure the data is valid.
Yes, data validation, that's key. And don't forget those industry standards.
Oh, right, like ISO or NIST.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
Shows you're serious about security.
It does.
And up to date.
Exactly.
All right, now speaking of best practices,
Okay.
they might ask, can you describe a time when you had to optimize software performance for an industrial mobile device?
This one's all about showing them you can write efficient code. Code that won't, overtax those limited resources.
So it's got to run smoothly, even when things get demanding.
You got it. And here's where the STAR method comes in.
What?
STAR: situation, task, action, result.
Okay.
It's a way to structure your answer, make it super impactful.
Got it. So walk them through it.
Right, so describe a specific situation where you had to deal with a performance challenge.
Like, what was the task you had to do?
Exactly. And then what actions did you take to actually optimize that code? And of course, what was the result? Yes. Did you make it load faster? Did you extend the battery life? Give them specifics, quantify it if you can.
Numbers always help.
They do. Now, let's get a bit more into the hardware side of things.
Okay.
They might ask, can you explain your experience with developing software that can control hardware components of an industrial mobile device?
So it's about the software actually talking to the hardware.
Exactly. Think sensors, cameras, GPS units, all those things that need to be controlled by your code.
It's like bringing the virtual world and the real world together.
It is, yeah. Have you ever worked on projects that involved reading sensor data or controlling motors?
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't in an industrial setting?
Okay.
That kind of experience shows you can work with those hardware interfaces.
Right, those APIs.
Yep. And if you can, mention specific hardware components you're familiar with, like RFID readers or barcode scanners, that kind of thing.
Really shows you understand that industrial setting.
It does. Okay, now let's talk user experience.
All right.
Because it's important, even in industrial software.
Oh, absolutely.
So they might ask something like, how do you ensure that the software you develop for industrial mobile devices is user-friendly and meets the needs of the end users?
Right, because these people are using these devices out in the field, often under pressure.
Exactly. So talk about how you approach user interface design.
Okay.
Do you follow certain design principles? Have you done any usability testing with the people who will actually be using it?
And if you've used user feedback to improve your designs, definitely mention that.
Oh yeah, that's great. And don't forget about accessibility.
Okay.
Because these environments can be noisy, visually distracting.
Right.
You've got to design for everyone.
So you're designing for the user's safety, their efficiency.
Absolutely. All right, now this one gets to the heart of reliability.
Okay, hit me.
They might ask, how do you ensure that the software you develop for industrial mobile devices is reliable and performs well in harsh environments?
Back to those tough conditions.
Yeah, extreme temperatures, dust, vibrations, the works.
You've got to be sure your software can handle it all.
Right. It does. So how do you show them that confidence? Start by emphasizing that you get it.
Okay.
You understand those unique challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and then dive into your testing procedures.
Stress testing, environmental testing.
All of it.
Yeah.
And don't forget error handling and logging.
Right. Got to be prepared for those unexpected hiccups.
Exactly. Your software needs to be able to handle those gracefully and give useful information when things do go wrong.
Now, another question that often comes up.
Okay.
Can you explain your experience with developing software that integrates with other systems, such as ERP or MES?
So this is about connectivity
Yeah.
on a bigger scale.
Right.
Because these devices, they often need to share data with those big enterprise systems.
Like ERP or MES?
Exactly. If you've worked with these integrations, tell them about it. The specific technologies you use, like APIs or web services.
Okay.
Even if your experience is limited, you can still talk about the concepts, the challenges involved.
Like what?
Well, things like data consistency, real-time communication, how to handle errors in those complex scenarios.
Got it.
Okay, now brace yourself. Here comes the one everyone dreads.
Oh, no. What is it?
Can you describe a time when you had to debug software for an industrial mobile device?
Debugging. Everyone's favorite, right?
Well, everyone loves a good debugging story, but what they really want to see is your problem-solving process.
So walk them through it.
Exactly. How do you find the bug? Isolate it? What tools do you use? Did you have to work with other people to figure it out?
And don't be afraid to talk about what you learned from that experience.
Oh yeah, those lessons learned, they're gold.
Because debugging, it's a part of life for a developer.
It is. It's how we learn and grow.
Right now, here's a question that's becoming more and more common. Can you explain your experience with developing software that uses machine learning algorithms?
Machine learning.
It's everywhere these days.
It is, and it's transforming the industrial world too.
So they're trying to see if you're up on this trend.
Right. If you've got machine learning experience, flaunt it. Tell them about the algorithms you've worked with, the tools, the results.
Okay, but what if you don't have that direct experience?
That's okay. You can still talk about the basic concepts, show them you're interested in learning more.
That you're adaptable.
Exactly. Mention any courses you've taken, resources you've explored.
Show them you're keeping up with the latest and greatest.
Absolutely. Because in this field, you got to be able to adapt.
And speaking of keeping up, RoleCatcher's AI can be a real game changer for interview prep.
Oh, yeah. It's like having a secret weapon.
How so?
Well, it analyzes job descriptions, figures out exactly which skills you should be highlighting in your answers.
So no more guessing games?
Nope. It's like having a personalized roadmap for your interview.
That's amazing.
It is, yeah.
So we've covered a lot here, but RoleCatcher has one more tool that can help you.
Okay.
It's called the Career Compass.
I love the career compass.
It basically lays out the typical career path for an industrial mobile devices software developer.
It's like a crystal ball showing you where you are now and where you could go.
I like that.
And it's not just titles, it tells you what skills and experience you'll need to move up so you can see any gaps you might have.
So if you're thinking of specializing, say, in AI or cloud computing,
Right.
the Career Compass can show you how to get there.
Exactly. It's an invaluable tool for anyone who's serious about this field.
All right, that's it for part 1 of our deep dive into the world of industrial mobile devices software development.
We've unpacked the role, tackled some tough questions, and explored some amazing RoleCatcher resources.
We have. And in part 2, we'll continue our interview prep.
Yes, we'll dive into even more challenging questions and those career insights from RoleCatcher.
Sounds good. See you then.
See ya. Welcome back. Ready for more interview questions?
Oh, absolutely. Bring them on.
All right, let's test your design thinking.
Okay.
They might ask you, what are some of the key considerations when designing user interfaces for industrial mobile devices?
So we're not talking about, like, making it pretty, right?
No, not just about looks. It's about making it work.
Okay.
For people who are out there in the field, sometimes in really demanding environments.
So what kind of things do you have to keep in mind?
Well, first off, screen size.
Okay.
Industrial devices, they often have smaller screens
Oh, yes.
than your typical smartphone. So everything has got to be clear, concise.
Right. Easy to read.
Yep. And then you've got input methods.
Like the touch screen.
Sometimes, but what if they're wearing gloves?
Ah, good point.
Or it's too dusty, or the device is vibrating.
So you might need buttons or voice control.
Exactly. You've got to think about all the different ways people might need to interact with the device.
So it's flexible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the environment itself.
Like the bright sunlight we were talking about before.
Yep. Dust, vibrations, all that can affect the interface.
It's got to be durable.
Tough, yeah. And of course, safety.
Of course.
Clear warnings, easy navigation, and fail-safes, just in case.
Right, because a confusing interface out in the field, that's a real problem.
It could be dangerous. Okay, now shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about continuous learning.
Right.
They might ask you, how do you stay up to date with the latest trends and technologies in the field of industrial mobile device development?
So this is about showing them you're always learning.
Exactly. Tech moves so fast, you got to keep up.
It does.
So tell them how you do it. What are your strategies?
Okay.
Do you follow any industry blogs, podcasts, conferences?
Or like online communities and stuff.
Yep. And be specific, mention some names.
Okay.
The blogs you read, the organizations you follow, that shows them you're serious.
And what about like how you learn best? Hands-on or by reading, that kind of thing.
Mention that too. It shows you're self-aware and that you're passionate about learning.
So it's not just about knowing the stuff, it's about wanting to know more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk teamwork. They might ask, can you describe a time when you had to work effectively as part of a team to develop software for an industrial mobile device?
Makes sense. I mean, most software projects aren't solo missions, right?
Right, especially these complex ones.
So how do you show them you're a team player?
Well, pick a project where teamwork was key, where you couldn't have done it alone.
Okay.
Talk about the team, the roles everyone played, the challenges you faced.
And what you specifically contributed, right?
Yes. How you helped overcome those obstacles.
Okay.
And don't forget communication. Did you use any specific tools or methods?
Like agile development or like Jira or Slack.
Yep. Those are all good examples. It shows you understand the practical side of teamwork.
All right, now let's get hypothetical.
Okay.
They might say, imagine you're working on an industrial mobile device application and it's suddenly experiencing performance issues in the field.
Oh.
How would you approach debugging and resolving the problem?
Classic situational question. They want to see how you think on your feet.
So it's not about having the perfect answer, right?
Right. It's about the process.
Okay.
So first off, how would you gather information?
Like what's going wrong? When did it start?
Exactly. Has anything changed recently, software or hardware?
Gotta have the right questions.
You do. And then you start forming hypotheses.
Like what could be causing the problem?
Yeah. Yep. And then you test those hypotheses.
So checking log files, profiling tools, diagnostics, all that.
Exactly. And keep everyone in the loop. communicate your progress.
So even though it's debugging, you're still working with the team.
Always. All right. Now, a question they often ask is,
Okay.
what is your understanding of the Industrial Internet of Things, IIoT, and how does it relate to industrial mobile device development?
The IIoT, that's a big one these days.
It is. It's transforming industries.
So got to show me get it.
Right. So start by explaining what the IoT is in your own words.
Like how it connects everything, all the devices and machines.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then how that connects to mobile devices.
They're like the interface,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. They're how people interact with the IoT. So give them some concrete examples.
Like predictive maintenance or remote monitoring.
Perfect. Real world stuff shows you understand the applications.
All right. Now, another key aspect is adaptability.
Oh, yeah. Got to be able to roll with the punches.
So they might ask, what are some of the challenges of developing software for different types of industrial mobile devices? And how do you approach those challenges?
Because there's so many different devices out there.
Right. With all their quirks.
Yeah. So first, point out those differences.
Like operating systems, hardware specs.
Connectivity, all of that.
Right. Some might be Android, some Windows. Some even have their own custom thing.
Exactly. And then how do you adapt to that?
So, like, reading the documentation carefully.
Choosing the right tools and languages.
Testing thoroughly on each device.
All crucial. And don't be afraid to collaborate, Reach out to the hardware folks if you need to.
Get those experts involved.
Yep. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, now let's talk about your process. They might ask, can you walk me through your process for designing and implementing a new feature for an industrial mobile device application?
So they want to see how you take an idea and make it real.
Exactly. Start by emphasizing the why.
The why.
Yeah, why are we building this feature? What does the user need? What are the business goals?
Got to have that clear understanding first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then you can move into the how.
The design and development, yeah.
Talk about creating a design document, outlining the architecture, the user interface, all of that.
Breaking it down into smaller tasks.
Creating a plan, choosing your tools and technologies.
And testing.
Of course. Quality is everything. Got to make sure it works and doesn't break anything else.
Makes sense.
Okay, now let's shift to best practices.
All right. Love best practices.
They might ask, what are some of the key principles you follow to write clean, maintainable, and efficient code for industrial mobile devices?
Clean code. That's like the holy grail for developers, right?
Yeah. It is. Especially in these industrial settings where reliability is so important.
So what are some of those core principles?
Well, readability is huge.
Got to be able to understand what the code's doing.
Yep. And modularity, code reuse, documentation, all that good stuff.
And testing. Again?
I'm always testing. And you can mention any specific standards you follow, like style guides.
Shows you're professional.
Exactly. And let your passion shine through, Show them you care about writing good code.
Makes a big difference.
It does. Now, as we wrap up,
Okay.
they'll probably ask, do you have any questions for me?
This is my chance to grill them.
Well, not grill them, but it is your chance to learn more.
Okay.
So come prepared with some thoughtful questions, Show them you're curious.
Like what?
You could ask about the company culture, the challenges the team's facing, opportunities for growth.
Or the next steps in the process. It's always a good one.
It is, yeah. Just avoid those questions that you could easily Google.
Right. Got to show them you've done your homework.
Exactly. And listen to their answers. Have a real conversation.
The two-way street.
It is. All right. So in this part, we've covered a ton of ground.
We have user interfaces, debugging, the IIoT, clean code.
All crucial stuff.
Yeah.
And in the final part, we'll explore how RoleCatcher's AI can help you land that dream job.
Sounds good. Welcome back. We're in the home stretch now.
We are. Ready to talk about landing that dream job.
Absolutely. But before we get to the interview,
Yeah.
we got to make sure that resume is top-notch.
Oh, yeah. First impressions, they matter.
They do.
Yeah.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer.
I agree. Those AI-powered tools are incredible.
So we're talking about their CV resume builder.
Mm-hmm. Which is way more than just spell check,
It is. It's like having a personal resume expert.
Exactly.
So how does it work?
Well, it analyzes job descriptions, figures out what those hiring managers are really looking for.
So it's like getting an inside scoop.
It is. Like, say you're applying for a role that needs experience with Bluetooth low energy development.
Okay, it's a very specific skill.
Right. The AI will scan that job description, then look at your resume, see if you've highlighted that skill.
And if you haven't,
It'll suggest changes. Make sure your resume is a perfect match.
That's awesome.
Nope.
No more second guessing.
Nope. RoleCatcher takes the guesswork out of it.
I love that.
And the best part, you can easily tweak your resume for different jobs.
So you're not sending out the same one to everyone.
Exactly. You're being strategic, targeting each application.
And it's not just resumes, right?
Right. RolePepper's AI can also help you write killer cover letters.
Because those are important too.
Oh, they're huge. Often the first thing a hiring manager sees.
So we got to be good.
They do. And think of the AI as like a brainstorming partner.
Okay.
It analyzes the job description, your resume, suggests key themes to focus on.
Helps you tell your story.
Exactly. Highlights your unique qualifications, your passion for the role.
It's like having a professional writer on your team.
It is. So with RoleCatcher's AI, you're not just applying, you're setting yourself up for success.
Showcasing your skills in the best possible light.
That's it. Increasing your chances of getting that interview.
And then hopefully, that job offer.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't a one-time thing.
Oh, right, because careers evolve.
They do. You learn new skills, gain experience, so you can keep updating your profile.
And the AI will keep giving you advice.
It will, like a personal career coach.
That's amazing. So as we wrap up this deep dive into industrial mobile devices software development,
Yeah?
remember, you're entering a field that's booming, shaping the future.
It is. It's an exciting time to be in this industry.
And with the right preparation, those insights we talked about, and the power of RoleCatcher, you can make a real impact.
You can. So good luck out there. The future is yours to build.